Today, I'm going to show you how to stock up on all of the Bloxburg Halloween update items and foods, including a checklist to make sure you get everything, how many tickets you'll need, plus a food bundle giveaway to give hundreds of you all of the Halloween food without you having to cook it yourself, but that'll be explained later in the video. Hey glossettes, welcome back. How are you guys doing today? Now it's currently, of course, the Halloween update in Bloxburg, which means it's finally time for another glossy stocking video. I've had so many comments asking about it, and I did have to delay it a little bit because of the huge giveaway we'll be talking about later, but today I'm going to be talking you through how to actually stock up on everything in the Halloween update. Now, if you don't know what I mean by stocking up, then basically every time we have a seasonal update like Halloween or Christmas, we get seasonal items added that will only be in game for that update's period of time, before they get removed later on when the update is gone. However, if you stock up on the items, aka place them down on your plot, you can actually keep them to use all year round, because once the update is removed from the game, they will stay on your plot, and instead of being sold when you delete them, they then get placed into your inventory instead. So this is also super useful, as it means you can use these items on any plot throughout the year too. So to help you with this process, I'll of course be showing you how to stock up. And this video will be split into 3 different categories, which is the plot, the items, and the food. But I know one of the biggest reasons you guys watch these videos is for the checklist, which of course I've made especially for you guys. This year's checklist is split into a few different parts. So it starts off with all of the items that cost Bloxburg money, and for the most part this is also kind of all in price order too. And then we have the ticket items section, which is just listing all of the items you need to buy with tickets. And then we have the food and drinks checklist, but this list has every single seasonal item in the game. And as usual, my Halloween update checklist will be linked at the top of the description and in the pinned comment on a Google Word document that you can screenshot or download, so you can check off the items as you follow along with this video. But anyways, let's get on with the actual stocking, starting with our plot. Now what I mean by the plot is I basically just mean the space you're going to be using to store your stocked up items. As a YouTuber, I stock up a lot every year on every single item because of the fact that I use them so much for videos, especially when I pre-record videos before the update releases next year. So I find that I need as many items as physically possible, and the best space for me to use is an entire empty plot. However, if you're not planning on stocking up as much as I am, you could just use a room in the basement of your house or something, or just whatever space you already have on existing plots. Or if you want to go crazy, you could of course buy a new plot too. You just need to make sure you have enough room to stock up on whatever you want to keep. And I also advise placing down some walls, because there's a lot of items that require being placed on walls, like lights, signs, things like that, as well as the fact that tables are also useful to place smaller items on too. So I like to have a plot with some walls and some tables for this, just to make sure I have room to display every type of item properly. But it's of course up to you where you stock up and how. But now our plot's ready, let's get into actually stocking up, starting with the items. The checklist for the items are all going to be on screen now, and I'm actually going to time-lapse me stocking up whilst I talk you through it. But of course, we have tons of Halloween items, especially all the new ones we got this year, and stocking up can be expensive. If you, for example, want like 10 of each thing, I personally try to have around like 20 of a lot of the items because of the fact that I use so many, but I also get tons of some items rather than others if certain ones are going to be kind of more useful to me. But I'm going to talk about that in a few seconds. But first of all, I'm kind of just getting started stocking up. I was going to start by placing down just the items that cost money and then move on to the tickets, but I kind of started doing all at once. So what I was doing is I added the trees and stuff at the back of the plot first like usual, and then I moved on to like the pumpkins, for example, and I was just trying to make rows of everything to work out how much space I would need. But yeah, I go through each item and stock up a decent amount of each, and if it's something I know I won't use, I will stock up less, but if it's something I know is really useful, I will stock up at least like 50 of them. Some examples of really useful items are things that are more neutral, that come in handy all year round for so many different builds, or are also something you would use a lot of for Halloween builds before next year's update. So the ones I'm stocking up more of this year are like the plain pumpkins, extra of the pumpkin plushie just because it's adorable, the candle skull, the cobwebs, the potions, the floating candles, oh, and the crow on the branch. I didn't realize we had another animal added, but the crow branch is going to be so good for forests, and anything else that could be useful throughout the year, maybe for build hacks and things, or maybe more kind of spooky abandoned builds that aren't necessarily Halloween themed. Just make sure you keep in mind that you'll want some more of items than others. Things like the Halloween inflatables, I only keep a couple of because honestly I never use them. So just make sure you go through and kind of think about things you'd want more of. Eventually I realized I was gonna have to expand this because I didn't have enough room at all, so I kind of added my trees to the side and then started adding things at the back too, just trying to add things so I could work out how many rows of stuff I would need. And then I also went and I changed the walls, so every kind of section of items had its own little wall instead. And then I went away for a few days and actually kind of grinded grinded the trick-or-treating to get a bunch more tickets and the trophies, and then came back to my stock plot to finish it off, and this is what I ended up with. So I obviously went a tiny bit overboard like I do every year, but this is the finished stock plot. I'm gonna tell you guys how much everything would cost in like different amounts of tickets in a second, but this is pretty much what I have. So I have kind of like full rows of all the pumpkins, and then these ones are kind of half rows. I think I have about 13 of each item, just kind of all neatly lined up, and then I have one of the Halloween car and one of the pumpkin carriage down there. I also have a ton of the bikes, but I kind of got those last year, and a ton of the floating candles because I feel like they're gonna be so useful. A bunch of stuff down here, all the trees, all of the kind of like animatronics I only have a few of because I never really use them. All the shelf items and the wall items. I think I've done a pretty good job. This is my completed stock plot. If anyone's curious, it does kind of equal 8.7 million, but obviously this is a lot of ticket items. But now mine's all completed, I'm gonna talk you guys through how many tickets you'll actually want to save up to be able to get one of every item. So here's how many tickets you might want to think about saving up. If you wanted one of every item minus the inflatables, animatronics, and vehicles, that would be 20,165 tickets, and of course this includes literally everything, like the expensive coffins and the coffin furniture and things like that. With the inflatables and the animatronics, this would be 26,980, and with everything including the vehicles, this would be 41,980. I'm really hoping I got the maths right, but of course some of these items you probably won't want, and some you'll want more of, so honestly my advice is to actually make your own kind of bundle and calculate how much it would cost to have everything that you want so that you have a goal to work towards. For example, if I was to pick out some items that are my favorite, I would pick these ones on screen now, and this would actually equal 10,000 tickets, because I also have the 7,000 ticket vehicle in there. But some items are way more expensive than others, and some you might not want at all, so I definitely go through all the ticket items and just calculate what you actually want to buy and then grind towards that ticket amount. But now all the item stocking is done, let's move on to the food. More importantly, my food bundle giveaway. But before we get to that part of the video, I'm actually going to go over how to stock the food yourself. Now first of all, each year when I'm stocking my food in videos, I always tell you guys about how I use a Bloxburg food catering company called Delicious Delights, who actually make all of my food for me, which I of course pay them to do. But this year I pretty much finished my stock alone, especially as I had tons left over from last year. So some cooking tips I have if you're doing this by yourself is to actually have multiple ovens, because you can start on a cake, put it in the oven, and then move on to the next one. And so sometimes I have like 6 cakes cooking at once. It's kind of really effective, but apart from that, there's not really any methods to cook stuff quicker, unless you of course have a friend helping you. In terms of stocking the food, I like to have a large table each of every food item, which when you place them on the medium placement grid in build mode equals to 45 items per table. But you can of course stock up on what you think you need. You don't need to go as overboard as me. In terms of the food itself, the game now has 28 Halloween food items. 13 of these are big plate items you have to cook from the fridge, and 15 are smaller items like snacks and drinks that you can either get from quick meals, appliances, or around the map. All 13 big plate items are of course found in the fridge from the Take Ingredients tab, but the snack items can be found in multiple places, which I'm now going to explain to you. So going over the snack items, you can get the corn dog from Sabrina's stand at Plenty of Pumpkins. The spooky vanilla milkshake is only in quick meals. The witch's brew can be found at Sabrina's stand. The pumpkin ice cream is only found at Sabrina's stand. Same with the witch's fearsome frog juice. This is only from Sabrina's stand. The candy corn is only found in quick meals. The pumpkin spice cappuccino can be found from a coffee machine. The kettle corn can be found in a popcorn machine and Sabrina's stand. The 2 spooky candy flosses can be found in a candy floss machine or at Sabrina's stand. The apple cider can only be found from inside the Bond Cafe. Same with the pumpkin spice latte, and same with the toffee apple. All of these can only be found inside the barn, and the pumpkin boba can only be found at the boba stand outside of Town Hall, which of course leaves one more snack item, which is the pumpkin spice hot chocolate. Now weirdly, there's actually no way to get this in game this year, and we aren't actually sure why. Like, it's just gone, so the only one of these that you can't get new ones of is the pumpkin spice hot chocolate. You can only get this if you've saved it from last year, or someone else who had it last year has given you one. So I have still included it on the kind of checklist because it is quite common, but yeah, you can't actually get it this year. But that's pretty much all of the food information, so let's move on to the most exciting part of the video, the food bundle giveaway. Because this year I decided to treat all of you guys and make your Halloween food for you in one of the biggest giveaways Bloxburg has ever seen. With the help of my donators and 2 major Bloxburg catering companies, I've managed to collect 12,900 items of Bloxburg Halloween food, all to give away to you guys, of course. In total, I'll be giving away 300 bundles of food, all completely free, to help you stock up for Halloween without having to do any of the cooking yourself. Each bundle includes 1 of every big plate of food, and then 2 of every snack and drink, including the pumpkin spice hot chocolate, which as of right now isn't available in the game anymore, so now is your your chance to grab one. There's also a limit of 1 bundle per person. However, if you're one of my lovely Discord server boosters or a channel member, you can actually have 2 instead, just as a little extra treat for your support. But you may be wondering, Glossie, how do we even get these food bundles? Well, I now have a new Discord server called the GLOSSIES Bakery. You can join this using the invite link in the pinned comment below, or if you're in my main Discord server, I've also posted an announcement with the invite link in there too. In this server, you can find the place an order channel where you can then order one of these bundles by opening a ticket, and one of my staff will organize delivering this to you. You can also find the donators channel in the server where it displays all of the incredible people who actually donated me this food to make this all possible, because without these lot, I could not have done this. I mean, just look at our top donators here. Brit donated me over 5,000 food items, and I don't know what I would have done without her. I also don't know what I would have done without, first of all, the food catering company Bloxby, who supplied most of this food, more specifically Roro, who logged on into Bloxburg every single night for like 2 months to deliver me this food each day. Delicious Delights also played a huge role in this too, with their chefs getting me a ton of some of the hardest items to track down whilst the update wasn't in game, because I had to collect this food all summer. So I just want to say a huge thank you to all of the donators who took the time to help me out with this project, plus these Bloxby chefs who actually sold their food for this too. And I'll be linking both Bloxby and Delicious Delights down below for you guys to join if you want a bit of extra food this year, as you can go and pay them to make it yourselves. But I'm genuinely so thankful for everyone who took part in this, especially my staff too, who are now working hard to hand out the orders. But anyways, the giveaway is first come first serve, so orders are open now. Make sure you go and grab your bundle whilst you still can, because once they're gone, GLOSSIES Bakery is closed until next season. But that's pretty much it. That is how to stock up on the Halloween update, plus of course all the information for my food giveaway that you can go and check out now at the GLOSSIES Bakery. And of course, make sure you go and check out the checklist, which will also be linked down below. And this is it for stocking up until in 2 months time, where I'll be doing the same thing but for Christmas. But as per usual, a huge shout out to all my channel members. Thank you so much for joining the channel. I love you all. And same with my Nitro boosters. Thank you so much for boosting the Discord server. And of course, my merch buyers from back in February. Thank you so much for buying my merch drop. I will see you all later. I love you all so much, glossettes. XOXO, Glossie Girl.